Hey, what's up everyone? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are looking at the Halo Reach Play Arts Kai EMILE figure. This guy is by far the most popular of the figures, at least if you go by price. He sells for the most. He is one of the better ones. I'd put him in the top 3. He's probably close to even with Cat, maybe just a little bit under because his hips still look pretty big, and having this ammo belt thing on there makes the hips look even bigger, so there are still some problems with the proportioning there. But he is not the best in my opinion. He is a cool figure though, so let's take a look. He stands about 9.5 inches tall. He comes with a shotgun, which is his iconic weapon in the game. They did a pretty good job detailing it. I'm not complaining. The pegs are glued in. This one has not been broken off, but it is glued in, so I can't get it off. It can go on his back in the peg hole. He also comes with a grenade. Pegs come out of the grenades no problem. I don't know why they glued the weapon pegs and not the grenade pegs. Oh well. It does have a peg hole in the open hand to hold it. Not in the right hand though, only the left, but that's how it is in the game. So we do have an open hand for either side and a trigger finger hand for either side as well. So that's pretty good. That covers it for the accessories other than his knife, which is the Gurkha Kukri. I'm probably pronouncing that a little bit wrong, but close enough. So that's pretty cool that they included that. He doesn't hold it very well, but you can kind of get it to stay in his hand if you're careful. So that's okay. And it is nice that they included it, though I think most people are probably just going to leave it in his shoulder pad. They sculpted the face really well. They could have used a little more white paint on the scratch marks. However, I think this is probably more accurate if it were to be a real life thing. I think that's probably how it would look more so than the way it did on most of the other figures or game images. So I'm okay with it. So he does have all of these extra details. He's got the shotgun shells there, all these grenades and canisters on his chest, pouch on his leg. Looks really nice. I do like it. Even though the hips do look a little extra big due to this, everything else kind of balances him out. So he's definitely up there as one of the better ones. And his hips aren't nearly as loose as some of the other ones. In fact, they're not too loose at all. So I do like that. The head articulation really good. No problems there with the double ball peg. Butterfly joint works really well. You can see the ball peg on top of that works really well. The hinge, again, no problems. Bicep swivel, no problems. Single jointed elbow with that cap, no problems there. Wrist hinge, swivels at the forearm and in the hand, so full range of motion. Upper torso range of motion, let's see how that is. His is pretty good, not the best, but definitely a good range of motion all the way around. You're gonna have to, play with it a little bit to get it to go where you want, but it can. Lower torso range of motion, just like the other ones, really good. Floating crotch piece, ball pegs for the hips again, nothing new there, except his are not as loose. We do have the full range of motion for the ball peg, and then the thigh can swivel around that socket, although you don't really need to. The way it's made, the ball peg itself can just allow the swivel. Double jointed knees, nothing new there. I don't need to talk about the exact same thing over and over again, so it is what it is. And then we have the hinge and the ankle ball hinge swivels at the top and the bottom to allow for you to pose him however you like within the confines of the sculpt. His shoulder pad is articulated just like Carter's was. The peg doesn't stick out quite as much, or at least it's not as noticeable because of the shape of the armor. So I do like that they did put a hinge on it though, well, a ball peg, and it looks better than Carter's, so that's pretty good. And he just is an imposing looking figure. Once you get him posed, and I know I keep saying this for every figure, but it's true, especially of the Play Arts figures. Once a figure is posed, let me just swap this hand out. Once a figure is posed, it looks completely different than when it's not posed. So don't just judge a figure by how it looks standing there straight on. Go ahead and pose it and see how you're going to like it once you can hide the articulation a little bit or hide the proportion issues a little bit. So let's get that shotgun in his hand. We're not going to put him in a hugely dynamic pose, just something to give you an idea. Oh, we have to swap this hand out too. Alright, so let's pull that out. His hands swap out rather nicely, so that's kind of convenient for the review. Be careful though, it's still always risky when you're swapping out a Play Arts figure's hands. So use some caution, and we'll get that on there. And now we have EMILE standing there like a badass, and he does look pretty cool. I don't really like that pose that much, Let's get the gun up a little bit. Yeah, again, it's not so bad. It's a decent enough pose. So there is EMILE. He looks pretty awesome. I do recommend him. I wouldn't pay the hugely high prices that some people are asking. He is a good figure, but he's not extraordinary. So I would use a little bit of caution when shopping on eBay. So there he is. There's EMILE, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.